50.
Blue Hawaiian charts at number 50. That's right. From Bright in the Corners, your first tour. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know whether they played it. I can't remember. Maybe somewhere there's the set list, and it's. I could confirm that.
Setlist FM.
Yeah, I'll make a note.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't remember. Yeah.
Hey, this is Westy from the rock and roll band Pavement, and you're listening to The Countdown.
Hey, it's JD here, back for another episode of our Top 50 Countdown, covering seminal indie rock band Pavement. Week over week, we're going to count down the 50 essential Pavement tracks that you selected with your very own top 20 ballads. I then tabulated the results using an advanced abacus and some test tubes. And all that's left for us is to reveal this week's track. How will your favorite song fare in the rankings? Well, you'll need to tune in, or whatever the podcast equivalent of tuning in is, to find out. This week, we're joined by Pavement superfan, Dan from London. So there's that. Dan, how you doing, motherfucker?
Hi, JD. I'm doing okay, thanks. Yeah, all is good here, I think.
Nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, it's good to be back on.
Yeah. So, let's get right to it. Talk to me about your experience or your Pavement origin story. Like, what was that experience like?
I think when I was at art college, a lot of people were playing snippets of Pavement stuff. I didn't necessarily know what it was. I remember hanging out with a guy in his car, and he used to have like speakers off an actual stereo in the back of his car, like
what?
Speaker cabinets, wooden speaker cabinets. And I remember him blasting a bit of Westing through there as well, and feeling pretty interested in that. But it was really when I went to university, and I was at this girl's house, and we'd been sort of drinking all night, and she put on this tape, and one side was Gentlemen by Afghan Wigs, and the other side was Crooked Rain, and Crooked Rain just blew me away. I think that had impacted me on first listen more than any other record ever has, I think.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I think that just the way it builds up those first two tracks are just amazing. There's nothing else like it. And then, of course, it goes into Stop Breathing, and it's like, oh my God, okay, this is too much, man. Yeah. But after that, I actually I got back into them and had a load of stuff on tape, and I was playing along with it on my bass as well. But I actually worked at Glastonbury in 1999 just so I could see Pavement as well.
You worked there?
Yeah. So
what, were you like a usher or something?
Yeah, you work on the gate, so you take people's tickets and exchange them for the wristbands, and then in the evening, well, it was actually ultraviolet sort of stamps, and and then you'd have to check people in and out at the night time. You do 3 8-hour shifts, so you do 24 hours at the festival, but my shifts lined up nicely so that I got out of them for when Pavement were on, and
perfect.
It was a crazy good afternoon.
Yeah.
And then after that, I saw them on the reunion tour, and then the rest is when I kind of saw them with you, basically Primavera London. Yeah,
that was great.
But
talk to me a little bit more before we go into the London shows, because those were really special. But talk to me a little bit more about Glastonbury. Like, what was the set like for that? That was 99, so they were on the last leg, sort of Terror Twilight?
Yeah. So there was a lot of Terror Twilight. I mean, I can't find any footage of this, but basically when they came on stage, they were introduced by this dude who just came on, was a friend of theirs, and I think he was like either like a pub landlord or like some bookmaker from Brixton, this random guy that they loved, and he introduced the band. And they came on. I think it was there was a mixed bag, but it was quite Terror Twilight heavy. But I just remember the outstanding thing from that was just like folk jam was amazing.
Really?
Either folk jam or platform blues. Yeah, I need to look at that set list now and just still remember. But the thing about that is that I still have the 35 millimeter sort of camera film undeveloped from that whole Glastonbury experience. Yeah, it's been sitting there for nearly like 20 4 years now, so I've still got to get that done. So I have
Where do you even
photos
get
of them
film?
as well.
Where do you get film developed now?
Places will do it, but I just never got round to it. I've got about 14 rolls of camera film from my life
Dan?
that I get to look. Yeah, well, it's a time capsule. Yeah, but I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do
need
that,
to.
and then
I want to see those.
Yeah, you'll get to see how scrawny I was back in '99.
Half Dan from London.
Very much so. Yeah, beanpole. Yeah, but that was cool. Also on the bill, either before, I think it was directly before them, was Wilco during the summer tea period. So that was pretty cool as well. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a great lineup.
Yeah, the chip felt good for that. Yeah.
I won tickets to Glastonbury one year. I got a call from a radio station. I entered a contest and I won, and they called me on a Friday, and my plane would have left on Monday to go. And it was exactly 10 years after I won another contest. It was like 10 years to the weekend. I won a trip to St. John's, Newfoundland to see a secret concert by Molson Canadian Beer. So anyway, 10 years later, I win tickets to Glastonbury. So that would have been 2004, I guess, 2004 or 2005. I don't know what the lineup was, but they were going to book my flight that night, and I needed a passport, and I didn't have a passport. So I couldn't accept the prize. And they were like, sorry, it was in the terms and conditions that you had to have a passport. And I was like, I can get one. Like I can fast track it and I can have it by Monday. And they're like, sorry, we need to book the flight. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh man.
I'll have to look and see who was on that lineup. Who did I miss out on?
But I mean, it's, Glastonbury is not what it used to be. It's been steadily sort of gentrified, really. Yeah. So
it's like Coachella is now.
But I mean, when I was working on the gates, a couple of funny things happened. So one of which we had our suntan lotion stolen from us, so we were just getting burned out there all day.
Oh shit!
The second was there was this guy, and he had this big bottle of vodka pulled out of his bag, and they were like, "You can't bring that bottle in here," So he sat by the side of the queue, and he just started knocking back this vodka. This, like, I don't know, barely 18-year-old guy. And, he pretty much got like halfway through the bottle and was just looking absolutely off his face. And then he pulled another, bottle out of his bag, and it was a bottle of Coke, and he was pouring the Coke in to dilute it. And then he looked at his Coke bottle, which was plastic, and he just it's like, oh, fuck. Because basically it was the glass bottle he couldn't take in. So he could have tipped it into his Coke bottle. He could have kept the vodka, but he necked like half a bottle. So he had this realization in this burning hot sun. And the security guy clocked it, and he was just like, okay, just, pour it in and bring it on in, and I saw this poor guy stagger through, and that was his start of his festival. He was just wasted beyond belief.
Holy shit.
But also, the perimeter fence that they have there, I saw people like throwing like dogs over. I saw like a family the guy got over, and then they threw the baby over the fence, and he caught that, and then his wife came. I mean, it was just pretty mental. Yeah.
Oh,
so
shit.
I don't think you get that much of that these days.
Oh, that's cool. What a fun experience. So that was your first time seeing them then? 99?
Yeah. Because, I mean, I was at Reading when they played, but I retired to my tent to make some beans. Yeah,
I
so
remember
I could
you
kind of hear
telling
them
me
in
that.
the background.
Yes.
Yeah, but I didn't see them with Gary because I was too busy eating beans.
Because you didn't know of them at that point yet?
I wasn't overly familiar with them. No.
Right. You hadn't listened to the cassette yet. The Crooked Rain cassette. The infamous Crooked Rain cassette incident.
Yeah, that would literally happen like a year later or something, so.
Fuck. Yeah, to see them with Gary would have been really interesting. I think there's definitely some Gary tracks in this top 50 list, and it'll be interesting to revisit those tracks, like after listening to so much Westy. And I think Westy's a great drummer, but Gary it's just different. It's just different.
Yeah, I love Gary. Gary's I think other people have said it, but there's something kind of melodic about Gary's beats as well.
Yeah.
You know, they carry things in a different way, and they carry things in a very atmospheric way as well. Which means sometimes they just turn the guitars down, don't they? They just let the drums come through for a bit to build up, and then they just come back in. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
So, what was the highlight of? Obviously, I was with you, but you have to. The rest of the audience wasn't with us, so they don't know. Talk to me a little bit about the London shows.
Well, I mean, it's difficult because we did 3, and it's all a bit of a mush in my mind, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, the first night was a bit difficult because we were kind of really at the back, and I didn't really appreciate it much from the back of the room. But the next 2 nights when we had those phenomenal views, I mean, that was just my dream would always have been to see, you know, Pavement, like watching them from the side of the stage, you know. I mean, that's a life ambition for me, and we got that. So for me, it was just seeing them all in action, you know, from an angle that you wouldn't get to appreciate them from, you know. I mean, like they did a huge variety of tracks.
Every night was different. We saw 3 nights in a row, and I wasn't bored at all.
Yeah, I mean, the second night we were there, we had really, really obscure stuff going on in the set list as well. So that was great. But yeah, I'm never, like, my memory's the same as yours. I'm never one that can just remember certain things from certain gigs. That's why I taped, you know, that's why I videoed the whole thing so I can watch it.
Right. I just think my highlight was the second night on that balcony. We were there with SM's daughter and her friend, and it was their daughter's birthday. And afterward, we went backstage and got offered cake. And I remember just thinking,
so cool.
I remember thinking, like, whose life am I living right now? This is fucking bonkers.
Oh, it was good. It was good. I mean, it was so relaxed as well. It was just really chilled out, and it was great to have that experience there. Yeah, and then just getting back in the dressing room, talking to I spoke a lot to Remco, caught up with him, and then we were talking to Spiral for a long
everybody
time.
else. Who's Remco?
So Remco's pretty much the sort of Pavement European sound engineer. He does the Jix stuff as well, but also he has the recording studio that was it Wig Out at Jagbags was recorded. I can't remember which Mountainous album.
I didn't know that.
But one of them, yeah, look it up, yeah. But Remco's cool, yeah, and he also does the European sound for when Spiral touring as well. So yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah. I thought it was so cool when you were like, oh, that's Remco over there. And I'm like, who the fuck is Remco? And you go over and he's like, hey, Dan.
and Remco is in Marble Valley as well with.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because Marble Valley was pretty much all of Pavement's roadies apart from Steve West, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't listened to much Marble Valley, but I've listened to it a couple times. Yeah, I dig it. I also like that Unmastered Masters record that he put out. That was
I still need to get into that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, shall we get to the main course here, Sir Dan?
Dan, Lisa? Yeah, far away.
All right. Well, what we're going to do is take a brief intermission, and we'll come back on the other side and talk about track number 49.
Hey, this is Bob Nastanovich from Pavement. Thanks for listening. And now on with a countdown.
49.
You've been
All right, we are back, and you heard it. Track number 49, Best Friend's Arm. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Oh man, well this track was really my introduction to Wowie Zowie. I didn't own it at the time, and my friend Andy used to have it. And out of all the tracks, I used to make this and put this on repeatedly. Say we used to sit on the floor and listen to it, and I used to roll around. Kind of, I wasn't exactly laughing, but it's just like I just couldn't get over how mad and how fun that track is.
Yes,
you know,
I have the word frenetic written down.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's got a huge amount of energy, but it's also very obscure. It's one of the most obscure tracks that Pavement have done, I would say, and it's an enigma as well in my mind.
The verses are like screamed out in like a punk way. It's I don't know that there's any other vocal performance by SM that is quite like Best Friend's Arm. Like it really is one of a kind.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I have in my notes because it's kind of interesting what I came up with, because analyzing this track just broke me completely. So basically, it's 2 minutes 19. Again, it's the perfect bridging track between Extradition and Grave Architecture, which are both pretty mad tracks. But Extradition has got that wonkiness that brings you into this.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is fast and loose. Sounds like it's spur of the moment and probably like a one-take thing. But in the beginning, so it sounds with what sounds like a snippet of a phone call, like a bit of an authoritarian woman's voice saying, "No, you don't have to," which is weird.
Yeah.
We never get that on anything else, particularly a woman's voice. And then you've got the whole sort of start thing, which is almost akin to Silent Kid, with the whole sort of like tambourine sound, Bob doing some mad moog noises, there's feedback. But it just sounds like the band has been teleported in, to this studio or this event that they're at, and they're running late, and this is the sound I'm getting, teleported in, bang, they arrive, and then they have to get going straight away, and it's like Mountmas is almost like making up time,
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. But also the other analogy that I had for this as well was, this is like in Marty's band in Back to the Future when they're auditioning for the spot at the prom show, and it's the whole "you're just too darn loud" thing. For me, this is like a Pavement take on that. It's like imagining themselves in that situation and just like trying to, I don't know, like almost like as an amateur band come up with this loud sound that's going to try and impress someone, and it just doesn't. Yeah, it's pretty mad.
Who's doing the backup vocals on it? Is it SM singing his own backups on the track? I don't know about live. Like live, obviously he doesn't, but
yeah. Well, I mean, this is the whole thing about it. So obviously, like, he's singing the main bit, which is just basically unintelligible, and then you've got almost like the call and response. I can see. I mean, I was going to ask you: is it like Spiral? Is it like Bob? I don't know.
It sounds like Steve to me.
But when you get further down into the track as well with the Best Friend's Arm bit, it's like the first part of that you hear, the first few lines, that come in, like who is singing on that, because it sounds like an English voice. It's like, it's just weird.
Yeah.
And then the backing on that, the rest of the band join in, singing the line, but they're all singing it in a different way every time as well.
Yes.
It's like the harmonies and everything are just totally different. So it's just crazy, I mean, the thing I was going to say about the lyrics are that they are just delivered at such a speed and with such ferocity that they're kind of unintelligible. And then the first bit where you do get to a section of the song that actually sort of dies down a bit, where you kind of get, the jazzy rise that ends on that weird flat note, and then you get the big low bit, and the guitars fall away and the drums are there, and it's just like Steve starts singing, and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm actually going to be able to hear what he's saying. And then he basically just says, well, I mean, what does he actually say there? Is it like, my baby's got the postage in the line?
Yeah,
But
your
it's
baby's
singing
got a
like,
postage in the line. Yeah.
yeah, but it's almost sounding like a low end sort of pathetic kind of club singer style, and it's like
Yes.
this. Yeah, and it's like, I can hear what you're saying, but it has no resemblance to anything else. It sheds no light on the situation.
No.
And it's the same thing as the old I can see bits. It's like those sound like they're from a different song completely. It's crazy. Yeah.
Fuck. It really is crazy. Is like is it kosher to say the word schizophrenic at this point? Like it's the song is all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing I love the most about it. I mean, the sounds in there are crazy as well, because it's all carried on, by Eyebold's bass, and Eyebold's bass is just like so madly overdriven that it sounds like some kind of out of control lawnmower. And then towards the end, it like sounds like some kind of out of control bus saw, in the best friend's arm bit. And then the guitars are clean, they're sort of chimey, either jazzy or melodic, and it's just crazy, yeah. And the as you say, the guitar solos, they're schizophrenic as well. You've got two guitar solos going on. They don't really bear much relation to each other. They're, in harmonic, and yeah, it's just like they're just going for it.
It's like if you go to a restaurant and you go into the kitchen and you see all these ingredients that don't work together, and then the chef comes in and mixes them together in such a deft way that you eat this end product and you're like, fuck, this is delicious. But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It doesn't, like, if we were to listen to the individual tracks on this song, like break it down and listen to the tracks, you would never think that these tracks fit together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you could not design this song.
No.
That would be a dream come true to actually be able to deconstruct this song. Yeah, just to hear those tracks. I mean, I would just love to hear the bass and the drums together.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a strong thing that's going on. But the guitars, man,
really great, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's because it's pretty wonky and it's fun and it's like kind of don't give a fuck really, isn't it? It's just like, is it a play on the fact that, like, oh, we're getting renowned for, like, saying that we can't play, or being regarded as not being able to play? Is it just taking that to a new dimension, taking those comments and that perspective out of proportion? I don't know.
Uh,
As I say, it's an enigma.
It really is.
But did you actually have a look at the lyrics? Because
I did. I've got them printed out right here.
Yeah, because whoever had a stab at that has done pretty well.
I think so.
When you put them together with what's going on, it's like, yeah, they're not accurate at all. But then you can't improve on them, because what is there is just not there,
And if you can't think of anything, then you're gonna drink and think it later.
Yeah. And then the next line, he's gone at it so hard on that line, it's just a cough, and then
That's
before
right.
you go,
that cough is in there. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's because he's going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Yeah.
I really feel like you're onto something with this whole, like, this might have been just, a loosen up song. It might have been like, okay, we're in the studio now. Let's just rip one out before we record something like proper. Yeah. And then it came out and it's like, this is what it is. Like Pavement's a 1 or 2 track, 2 take band, So I'm pretty sure that whoever was producing it might have said, I think it's easily who produced Wowie Zowie. They might have said, have another stab at those vocals. And he's like, no. And they're like, yeah, but there's a cough in it. And he's like, yeah, that's it. It's so what?
I mean, a cough in that delivery is not going to improve it in any way. It just doesn't improve the lyrics that he's not coughing over. You can't make out what the hell they are.
Right.
But I mean, I think they did it, and it's just like, my God, this is just such a fun song. This is just so full of energy, and it's just, I mean, it obviously makes them smile. It obviously makes them laugh. You know, I mean, imagine playing it. You
No,
know,
I can't. Did they play
so
this
it's
one on the
like,
road? Is this one they took out
oh
on the
yeah,
road?
yeah. So in terms of it being on the road, I mean, in terms of the lyrics, you know, like the radio session that they've got on the Sordid Sentinels edition of Wowie Zowie,
Right.
the one that was recorded in Australia, obviously, like, the lyric bear no resemblance. You know, the song is nearly twice as long, but then also on the road, you know, like, the roles are interchangeable. So Bob, you know, I've seen him singing the verses, you know, and they're even more unintelligible, you know.
Really?
So yeah, there's some good footage out there of them doing it a few times in '94, I think, as they were sort of developing the album, and then a couple of times in '95, I think.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't fit on any other record. It doesn't, like,
no,
maybe it would fit on like Demolition Plot or Perfect Sound Forever. Maybe.
yeah,
But it's like, it's not like anything else. It really isn't.
right. I mean, you know, that's what I ended up doing earlier on, was you know, looking at other tracks that had sort of lyrics that were sort of like low down in the mix or obscured, you know, in some other way. You know, looking at things like, I don't know, Recorder Grot and things like that,
Yeah.
and or like Spizzle Trunk, you know, and it's like, yeah, you've got to go back that far to get that obscure, you know, and this is why I think, like, you know, Wowie Zowie is like almost like a really good, you know, updated version of Westing, yeah, you know. But yeah, it's interesting to actually be able to go back that far, and then, you know, the lyrics on the stuff on Westing is more intelligible than something that's recorded on a huge, you know, huge studio later on in their career. Yeah, it's just cool. It's just so interesting.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, you know, with the main line, you know, what do you think keep it under your best friend's arm means to you?
I wish I could put it together. I don't think it's related to anything in the main part of the song. I really don't know. I don't have a. I should have went back and listened to my episode on Best Friend's Arm to see what I thought then, because I don't remember. I have such a piss poor memory.
I did review the episode, yeah, but I don't think
I offered any
I don't
insight.
I don't think the answers are there. No,
No, that
no.
doesn't
I
surprise
mean,
me.
I mean, for me, like, you know, it's pretty much sort of two songs, but if there is a relation between the back half and the front half, you know, like, the front half is almost like a kind of like a friend listening to a drunken conversation, a drunken confession, and just going, oh yeah, yeah, okay. And it's almost like, yeah, you know, that person may have told somebody, yeah, you know, a secret, you know, or a truth that they don't want revealing to anybody else. So I guess, like, keep it under
Oh,
your best friend's arms is like keeping a secret, you know.
oh,
I
that's
mean,
cool.
if you were to look at the sort of lyrics that are actually in there that you can hear, I mean, maybe, you know, like, baby's got a postage in the line is like, what, somebody got pregnant? I don't know. But that's obviously reading way, way too much in it, because it's not about anything, is
That's a
it?
pretty big leap. Postage to
Yeah,
pregnancy.
yeah. But for me, you know, I'm getting a real high school vibe from this, obviously, you know, with my Back to the Future references and this kind of thing, yeah. And then you were talking about the ending as well, you know, and it's like a
Yeah.
real kind of scratch ending, and it's like, again, it's like the whole Back to the Future thing of just like, shut up, you've got to leave the stage now, you know, no good, get off, and they disappear as quickly as they came on, yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
it's like,
it's just very abrupt.
yeah,
Very abrupt.
Eyeball gets his last bit of bass in before the big, you know, the big hook stick comes and pulls him off, yanks him off stage.
Oh, fuck. Well, man, it's been great talking to you about Best Friend's Arm and your pavement experiences. Do you have anything you want to plug?
Oh man, no, I mean, basically, you know, I did I did do some recording of my experience at Primavera, seeing Pavement, and meeting you for the first time and hanging out with you, JD. And I'm going to try and release that on a video on YouTube at some point very soon. So there's that, which also has the full Porto Primavera set, which will come out as a separate video as well. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, so maybe you could pass on the details, JD, when those come out.
Yeah, I certainly will.
Yeah, post them up somewhere.
I want to thank you again. It's been great talking to you once again, and we'll do this again sometime.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks, JD.
All right, wash your goddamn hands. Thanks for listening to Meeting Malcolmus, a pavement podcast, where we count down the top 50 pavement tracks, as selected by you. If you've got questions or concerns, please shoot me an email, jd@meetingmalcolmus.com. To podcasts and such.